Hello everyone and welcome to the Amyverse Spring Splash 2026 week-long 1v1 tournament. My name is Amy, I'm the owner of the Gaster Splatter server, and I'm joined here with my co-host Ace to commentate on these games.
What is up, everybody? I'm Ace, just a regular little helper on the server. Try my best to do whatever I can to get by. Thank you for having me on out for this one, Amy. It's a really big pleasure to help you with this.
Of course, Ace, and I'm sure that a lot of these matches that we're going to be watching are going to be pretty amazing. Let's take a look at the roster here and see who is going to be playing in this tournament here. We can see a lot of familiar faces in the server for sure. A lot of people who we know how they play, and we know their playstyle and their weapons and things like that. But there's a lot of people who we haven't actually seen at all, and we have no clue how they're going to play. So what do you think about some of these people, Ace? Like, what do you think they're gonna bring to the tournament, and how well they're gonna do?
I think everybody's gonna be doing really well. I don't really know for sure, because as you said before, none of us have ever actually interacted with these people, so we don't know how they're gonna be fighting amongst each other. But I have a pretty good hope that everybody will definitely do really good in this tournament. Some more than others, but in my opinion, I just think that maybe things are gonna go right for them. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. It's really everyone's tournament here, and since we don't know a lot about some of these people, they could be rising to the top without us even knowing it. Of course, we do see a lot of familiar faces here. We see Alan and Leafy and a lot of these other really strong players in the game. And people
Wait a
like
minute.
Alan have been playing tournaments in the server for a while, and Leafan as well, playing stuff like Dreadringer. Alan's really strong on Dread. Leafy has been playing the Wellstring since the beginning of time, and Slice has been doing really good on the End Parry dualies. So a lot of these people, they've already got a name for themselves here, and they're really going to be defending their reputation in this tournament, aren't they?
They sure are. And wait a minute, is that me? Huh. I honestly forgot that I signed myself up for
Oh
this.
yeah, you're there too. I bet you're going to do well as well. Who knows? You might even win the
Hopefully, I
whole
don't know.
thing.
I don't know for sure, but hey, it's worth a shot, right?
Yep, anything can happen in this tournament, especially in 1v1s, because Splatoon is a game that was never meant to be played in 1v1s. So we're going to be seeing a lot of rogue strategies, a lot of random bullshit going on here, and this is going to be quite fun to watch and play in. Of course, this tournament is going to be Swiss style, so everyone is going to be put into a random pool, and they'll be getting random pairings for round one. And then, as the rounds progress, players will be paired up against players with similar records to them, aka similar numbers of wins and losses. And then at the end on Saturday, we are going to have a top cut where the top 8 players are going to be playing single elimination style to determine which player is going to emerge victorious. So there's going to be a semifinal. There's going to be a quarterfinal into a semifinal into a final to determine who the winner is going to be. So these players they're all at 0 right now. So anyone could be in top cut here. Anyone could be in the top 8 and make it to the winning position. So who do you think we're going to see in top cut, Ace?
Well, that we're definitely going to be seeing Alan and Leaf on, that's for sure. Slice, definitely, maybe. Wahoo, okay, maybe. That's a little bit of a controversial topic, but at the same time, though, I have a chance that he could do it too.
Oh, Wahoo Skib
Um,
is definitely a big up and comer in this tournament. I think he can definitely breeze past because he's been bringing some pretty rogue strategies recently to a lot of our other tournaments. So it's very likely that some of them are going to work out here. And even the names that you did mention is very likely that they might get sniped by some random strategy that has never been seen before. And
who
they
knows?
might not even make top cut, but we'll see. As I think that there's a pretty good chance that we might see a lot of names that we weren't expecting to in the top 8 this Saturday. So, without
Yeah.
further ado, let's get started and begin round 1 of Spring Splash.
Good luck, everybody. May the best player win.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Amyverse Spring Splash 2026, a week-long 1v1 tournament that will be going on all week from the 15th of March all the way through spring break up until the 21st. And so for our first game here, we have A-Slice versus Zandorenzo, aka Yellow, and they are going to be playing our very first round in the Amyverse Spring Splash. So game 1 will be Splat Zones on Sturgeon Shipyard. Let's see how both of these players do in the first round. I'm going to put myself on spectate. Let's go. So not too sure what weapons these two are going to pick here, because they could really go with anything at this point in time. But let's take a look as we see game 1 beginning right now. With zones on Sturgeon, one of my favorite map modes. A-Slice is on her main, the N-Perry Splat Dualies, and we have Yellow on the Dynamo Roller. There's a very interesting matchup here, especially for a 1v1. Let's see how this pans out. So both of them obviously just swimming into zone here. Right, the Dynamo is going to be able to get some picks over this ledge here, or able to get some damage over this ledge. Let's see if they can get a pick on Slice over here. Slice trying to keep her cover right here, away from the Dynamo, but manages to pop a splashdown, gets taken out by Yellow, unfortunately, and Yellow manages to take the zone and start racking up some points already. So in these sort of 1v1 situations, it seems that lockout is a big component of the game, and if there is a trade, the splat zone will still tick down if it's still painted in one person's color, which can be quite disadvantageous. You can see Slice here trying to paint for a splashdown. Yellow is going to try and defend this area, trying to camp these ledges with a Dynamo Roller, using a Sprinkler and horizontal flicks to try and keep poking at Slice here. Slice goes in and pops a splashdown on the zone. Yellow manages to avoid it, trying to paint over it. Slice contests and manages to get the splat on Yellow. Manages to take zone, and now let's see how Slice is going to be able to hold this space. It seems that for Slice to win, she's going to have to chain splashdowns over and over and try and kill Yellow while he's in the middle of that Dynamo startup lag, and try and make it so that he's unable to get coolers. Slice's special is more offensive, so she'll be able to get some picks with it and try and keep that lock going as long as possible, whereas Yellow's special, the Tacticooler, might help him respawn quicker. Of course, we see the splashdown here, and one fist goes right below that ledge, managing to take out Yellow. Slice managing to get more ticks on the clock here. Let's see if she's going to be able to keep the lock long enough to see a game 1 knockout. Of course, trying to shock here. Yellow is going top right. Let's see what his plan of action is. Trying to just paint over zone, but Slice comes out of nowhere and just immediately takes him out. That is going to be game 1 going to A-Slice. Alright, so here we go. Game 2 of the first round. Yellow versus Slice. Let's see if any of them change their weapons in this second game. Yellow is still on the Dynamo Roller, and Slice is picking the heavy edit Splatling. Let's take a look at the gear here. We see swim speed and main saver from Yellow, and run speed and special charge from Slice. Obviously, stealth jump isn't that useful in this sort of 1v1 scenario, because you're not going to be super jumping to anyone. So Slice getting the pop immediately here. And instead of picking up the Rainmaker, it seems that she's going to try and get picks. Never mind, she's immediately going for the Rainmaker here, popping a Tacticooler to keep her push going and trying to get over there. She's definitely being very careful to make sure that the Dynamo doesn't snipe her from above, because that's definitely what he's going to do. But maybe she might be able to get this checkpoint after pushing this Dynamo back further up. And it seems that Slice is going to be able to take out Yellow with a well-timed Rainmaker shot. And now she's going to be able to pop again and get more points on the board. Trying to go for the left path here. Probably not the best idea, because Yellow immediately takes her out with that Dynamo Roller. Let's see if he's going to be able to get more points on the board here. It decides to pick up the Rainmaker without placing Tacticooler. Probably a misplay. But let's see if this extra time save will be enough to get the checkpoint. Seems that Slice is right here, though. Let's see if she's going to be able to stop this push. Placing down a cooler to make sure that if she goes down, she'll be able to come back into the fray immediately. And getting that extra run speed, which is super helpful. And it seems that she is going to try and go around the checkpoint, dropping immediately, going for a very risky play here. But managing to dodge that Rainmaker shot and taking out Yellow, which is going to be able to help her get the Rainmaker again and stop Yellow's push and stop him from getting that checkpoint. Now let's see what Slice's move here is. Keeping that side painted, always a good idea to make sure that Yellow won't be able to do that without painting again. It seems like Yellow is going in very aggressive. It seems like he might be able to get this kill. There is a trade here. That's just more time on the clock ticking down. Yellow's respawning, immediately gets a Tacticooler here, and where's Slice at? Slice is almost halfway to Tacticooler, a little bit more actually. Let's see if she's going to be able to get Yellow from that top perch. Yellow's in a pretty disadvantageous spot here, because first of all he needs to get to the area where the Rainmaker is, which is being heavily guarded by Slice, but also considering he's not in the lead and doesn't have the checkpoint, this means that he's going to need a really good push with a Rainmaker kill to get this lead here. You can see him painting even more for Cooler. Not too sure how that's going to work, because Slice is still moving forwards and still painting, placed it down a Cooler of her own, and now is about to try and get Yellow here. Let's see. Slice definitely knows Yellow is still behind this this block here, and she keeps the Rainmaker painted as much as possible to make it harder for him to get, which obviously Dynamo Roller doesn't have the best mass object damage here, so he's going to be taking a lot of time to pop this Rainmaker. Of course, Slice has the upper hand here, being at a higher position. Yellow decides to climb up onto the elevator, which gives Slice even more of an opportunity to try and take a knockout. But it looks like she's playing a lot more passively to try and defend herself from these Dynamo Flicks, which can be really strong. Eventually takes the knockout, and let's see if she's going to be taking the Rainmaker as well. Yes, she does. Going to get some points on the board here for Slice. See a bit of Rainmaker pushing, shooting around. Yellow tries to go in and get this kill here, tries to go on the wall, but unfortunately this just buys Slice enough time to push all the way to 19. Will Slice be able to take back the lead within this last 50 seconds, sorry? This is going to be quite a difficult thing to do, especially with a Rainmaker and a Dynamo Roller against a heavy edit Splatling. This might be a little bit difficult. Although we do see Yellow managing to get through the checkpoint here, placing down a Sprinkler onto that Rainmaker pedestal to get the faster pop. Slice going in with the counter attack here, trying to get the Rainmaker first, but it seems that Yellow is going to be able to see this pop earlier than Slice, but he will need to get a kill on Slice before he can push that, because this wouldn't be a good idea. Slice immediately pops a Cooler, which means even if she does go down here, Yellow is not going to have enough time to push because she will just respawn immediately. Yellow decides to take the Rainmaker all the way around. Let's see what he's trying to do here. He's trying to make some sort of a feint play, trying to mix up his movement and see what Slice is going to respond with, but eventually, like, it's pretty clear that he's going to need to get past one of these choke points eventually. Let's see if he manages to do so. Slice still guarding that bridge and manages to get the knockout on the elevator on Yellow. That is game 2 going to Slice, and Slice is now only one win away from taking home round 1 of the Amyverse Spring Splash 2026. Yeah, I've noticed these guys are playing a little bit like chess, trying to figure out where the movement's coming in and trying to anticipate what the other person's move is going to be, trying to wait out certain attacks and trying to go on the defense and then the offense, like, back and forth. It's really interesting stuff. Although Rainmaker, in my opinion, isn't the best 1v1 mode, I would personally go with either Splat Zones or Clan Blitz. Rainmaker and Tower Control seem a little bit too objective focused, especially considering you only have one person on the team. that one person has to get kills and push objective at the same time, which can be a little bit stressful. Much better in a 2v2 situation, but 1v1, it seems a bit more intuitive to push objective while getting kills, especially on zones where the objective kind of pushes itself once you paint it, and clan blitz where you'll be able to push those clams without losing your main weapon, which is pretty good. Alright, here we go. Game 3 of the first round of the Spring Splash, Slice versus Yellow. Let's see who will take the win. So Slice is on the custom heavy edit Splatling here with that Splat Bomb and Crab Tank versus Yellow on the Splash-O-Matic. This is a very interesting matchup. It seems that both of them are very much reliant on speed, and it looks like No Quarters is playing my favorite battle song, so hopefully this is going to be a chance for Yellow to turn the tides of this set. We see Slice playing a little bit more passive here, while Yellow tries to go in for the Rainmaker. Let's see if he's going to be able to take a knock on Slice here. Slice is immediately going aggressive, trying to get that kill on Yellow. And she has the high ground and manages to take that knockout. Now she's going to be able to push the Rainmaker a little bit and try and get to checkpoint. They're grabbing the Rainmaker immediately, and definitely not going to want to pop Crab Tank there. And then she manages to get the checkpoint, but immediately gets taken out by Yellow. So I wonder how this matchup is going to go. Splash-O-Matic is a good 1v1 weapon because you have that Crab Tank and the Burst Bomb for your long range combo potentials and things like that, whereas the main weapon is also really focused on painting and being able to support and things like that, which makes it a very versatile weapon, especially for these sort of 1v1 situations. Now just realize this is a crab versus crab situation here, as we see Yellow popping their own crab right as Slice's one ends, and he's instead going to use it to pop the Rainmaker and try and take this lead, manages to jump the ledge and pushes points really well here, and manages to take the Rainmaker all the way to the end. That is going to be a win for Yellow. It seems that the Splash-O-Matic really was the pick for this set, as we now see the set turn from a 2-0 to a 2-1. Zandorenzo might actually be making a bit of a comeback here. Let's see. Alright, let's go. Game 4 of round 1 of Spring Splash. Let's see if this is going to be Yellow's comeback, or if Slice is going to take the set with this next win. Slice is on the Nautilus 79, I believe, the one with Splashdown, and we see Yellow on the Custom Blaster. Both of these are decent picks for 1v1s. Nautilus is a very versatile main weapon that can fight at close and long range, and has very good mobility with that swimming mechanic, being able to charge hold, being able to pause mid-fire to recharge the Splatling. Splashdown is also a good special to have, and as we see that long range being used here to knock Yellow off the tower. And conversely, we have the Custom Blaster, which is very good AoE damage for taking out threats on the tower. However, we're not really having a very good matchup into Nautilus here because of the lack of range and kill time if you miss a shot, or even if you get an indirect, because the Nautilus can kill so quickly compared to the Custom Blaster. Yellow is going to need to be hitting some crazy directs at some really weird angles here, but otherwise it doesn't look too doable. The matchup is just too rough. I think Yellow's best bet is to either camp tower with those indirect shots, or just try and shock, but it seems that Slice is way too far into Yellow's base for shocking to be an option here. Yellow goes down to the Splashdown, and that is unfortunately going to be a loss, and Slice takes the set 3-1. Good game, guys, and well done to Slice for now proceeding in the Spring Splash 1-0. And we're back with another set of the Spring Splash. This is still round 1, and we have Ginkgo on Mini Splatling Rattler versus CC playing the NZAP 89. Ace, what do we think of this matchup?
What I think of this matchup is that it's going to be a really good match. I mean, I've played with CC before, and she has shown immense skill sets with playing other shooter weapons, but I've never seen Ginkgo play this weapon before. So, or actually, I've never actually seen them before. So, this
Yeah,
is gonna be
neither
a
have
fun
I.
time.
This is going to be a very
Ooh,
interesting game. What do we think of these weapons that they're picking for this 1v1? I think that the mini Splatling is a very, very good pick because of that
and
extra
CC
range,
with
but
the
CC manages
wipeout.
to take the pick here, managing to get the zone, and with the chump prepared, she's going to be able to keep this lock going for quite a little bit.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
The
nice
End Zap
beacon
seems like
placement.
a good weapon too, being very versatile,
Oh,
able to
CC for
paint,
the
however,
knockout.
dying to Ginkgo over here on that top snipe. We see Ginkgo
Okay.
take the zone, giving CC a penalty. I'm liking this back and forth here, placing beacons. Beacons are good in 1v1s, I think,
Yeah, they
because you can
really
just
are.
get back right into the fray. Popping a
Oh,
Zuka,
special.
but gets taken down
Oh,
by CC, and CC manages to
yeah.
take the zone before losing the lead here.
Wow. What a clutch move from CC's hand.
And we do see that
Ooh.
Ginkgo is actually running Haunt here. Dies to the
Oh,
chumps from
damn.
CC. That is
Jump
really
CC. That
good.
was insane.
Yeah, CC's going really hard with those super chumps there. We see Ginkgo
Yeah, she
running
really knows what
Haunt,
to
which
do.
makes it so that he's able to see his opponent after getting killed by them. And if he manages to take out CC here, CC will be hit by the effects of Respawn Punisher, which seems like a very one-sided effect, especially in the context of a 1v1, where there isn't anyone else you can take out. It seems that Haunt
Oh,
will
CC
almost
got
always
another
be active, but
wipeout.
that's only if Ginkgo can get the knockout. Unfortunately, CC is putting on the pressure, constantly chaining back-to-back splats, and it seems that she's going to be here to take this game one.
Let's see. Let's see. Three, two, one, and it's game. Let's
CC takes game
go.
one. Let's see.
Game one.
Let's see if Ginkgo will be able to keep the pressure on.
Let's see it. Will Geeko win? Or will CC take the win at all? Who knows?
So, Ace, what do we think of that game that just happened? How do you think Ginkgo's going to be able to come back from this? Are there any good strategies in 1v1s that they can try out?
What I think they could try out in the 1v1s is the fact that beacon placements were really solid. Geeko was able to jump to the beacons and then use those beacons to place new ones, and then they were able to go and just rain fire on the zone. But the thing is, though, entirely is the fact that when CC had the chumps and they took out Geeko, CC knew where Geeko was gonna go, so she placed the super chumps right at that area. So I think placing different beacons in different areas to scatter CC's mind and waste her chumps on one area when Geeko can just go onto another one, it makes a lot of sense with flanking and also trying to waste specials in a way. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And seeing CC and Ginkgo trying to play to their specials with that Inksuka, which just outranges pretty much everything, and then CC trying to go in with the chumps to support her in the fight because she's got a relatively weak damage weapon. It seems really strong to be playing a more special spammy playstyle. As we do see, we go into game 2 on Barnacle and Dime, selected by Ginkgo here. Let's see what weapons these people are both on. CC is still on the
Oh,
NZAP 89, tried and true pick, and Ginkgo has swapped to the Dreadringer D with that Beacon
oh,
and Wavebreaker here. Still running Haunt with a little bit of quick respawn, whereas CC is running more run speed, trying to go for a more mobility-based build here. Immediately getting into zone, trying to just take that first couple points here. Ginkgo staying further back, waiting for CC to get into position for her to be
waste of
able to
chumps.
take the knockout. Punk Chumps here to try and poke a little bit, and Ginkgo is putting the pressure on with that Wavebreaker. CC's going to have to back up here and concede the zone. Let's see how this is looking. Ginkgo's still trying to ledge camp CC. CC manages to push past that ledge camp,
Yes!
trying to contest the
Come
zone
on,
here.
come on.
Immediately pops Chumps. Let's see if she'll be able to take back zone here. One of these people needs a pick.
Come on.
It seems that CC is going to be able to take
CC
that
just knocked
pick
him
on
out.
Ginkgo after a couple
Yeah.
missed sloshes. And now she is in an advantage position. Unfortunately, no chumps here, but we'll see if she'll be able to make them back. Autobomb's
Ooh, nice
very strong
Autobomb
in
placement.
1v1s, being able to sniff out the other player. But it seems that she is taken out
Oh,
by Ginkgo from
taken
that
out.
ledge camp with the Dreadringer D here. And Ginkgo is now able to take the zone again. What do we think of this matchup, Ace? What's the dynamic between the two weapons here?
Dynamic between the two weapons. Well, if you know how to use Dread, because it just showers on top of you, it doesn't. It just showers on top of you. So if you try getting a good ledge camp, like what Geeko is doing right now in my POV, I think the matter at hand is that it's really good. Oh, and CC just wiped her
Yeah,
out.
definitely right there, Ace. And as we can see, the counterplay to that is that NZAP kills a lot faster than Dreadringer does. So if CC is able to get into range and get her shots off, this is going to be an easier kill for CC.
Ah,
Unfortunately, missing a couple shots is devastating here, as we can see, as Ginkgo takes that knockout, especially with the beacon placement on the stage. Beacons are really strong once again because getting behind enemy lines in a 1v1 is quite strong. Although there aren't that many people to take out and to be watching, so if you're able to get into a good line, you'll be able to push quite well with those beacons. As we see Ginkgo taking the lead here, and CC is popping some chumps, trying to contest zone, manages to contest, decides not to get the beacon just yet, instead go for Ginkgo and take the pick. Still not taking out the beacon here. Okay, never mind. She just got it.
Alright.
And there's no more beacons on the stage. Just checked. For Ginkgo, so they are gonna have to push back from the front here.
This is good. This is good.
Oh, managing to hit a 90 on CC. She manages to back up just in time, thankfully. And it looks like CC's taking the lead here.
CC's just holding
And manages
her
to
ground,
take
and
the
take her out
knockout.
again.
Yeah, Ginkgo goes down once again because she was trying to go for zone instead of dealing with CC first. Throwing more autobombs and chumps, that trash damage is going to be really helpful. And managing to get the splat on Ginkgo, that is going to be game for CC.
At this point. Guaranteed win.
Game 2 goes to CC.
Game 2 goes to CC. That was actually very interesting. I could not believe my eyes.
Yeah. And I like seeing the shooter win here because Dread is a really, really good weapon for 1v1s, especially with that range and being able to camp over ledges. But CC proved that skill really does take it home, doesn't it?
Exactly. Why do you think I'm a shooter main myself?
That's true. Quick kill times, a lot of paint, a lot of support. That's pretty good.
Really good.
But let's see if Ginkgo is going to be able to take the next couple wins. CC is, of course, one game win away from taking the round. Let's see if this will be enough. Alright, and Game 3 is starting. Once again, CC versus Ginkgo on Robo Ramen Zones. It seems Splat Zones is a popular pick, one of my favorite modes for 1v1s, and one of my favorite modes in general, for sure. We see CC still using the NZAP 89, and the Big Swig Roller, the Planet's Big Swig Roller being used by Ginkgo here. And let's see, the Planet's is also a decent weapon, because it's got a lot of good paint, you can poke at a further distance, even though the damage isn't quite that great. But you do have Torpedo to be able to,
Torpedo spam?
yeah, you can torpedo spam, you can like get location on your opponent, and that splashdown will be very useful for getting zone here, and also cancels out those chumps by just immediately taking them all out in one fell swoop. CC is still painting over the zone, trying to keep it for herself, while Ginkgo tries to paint at it from before. But it seems that someone's going to need to take a pick here, and it's going to be CC getting the pick on Ginkgo, managing to get a couple points on the board here. Let's see how Ginkgo's going to respond. Seems like Ginkgo's going to need to paint for another splashdown here, and try and use torpedoes to get around. Unfortunately, they are deciding to just immediately go into zone, which is just going to result in a quick pick from CC. Ace, what do you think that Ginkgo's line is here? What do you think her plan should be to get back into the game?
I think she has to be a little bit slow and she has to be stealthy here. because if she's able to use the triple splashdown right in the middle of the zone, or
Oh,
just
and the
use it now, and CC
splashdown
just
cancel
cancels
from
it.
CC.
That is
It seems
insane.
that
I
the
have never seen that in
splashdown
a
here
while.
isn't the best special for taking back
I guess
areas.
not.
There had to be
Okay.
more torpedoes
Tough
being
moment.
used there,
Tough
I think.
moment.
And then one more
One,
pick from CC at
and
the end. Almost a
oh,
contest
dude.
from Ginkgo, but
Wow.
unfortunately CC
That
takes
was
the win.
close.
Good
Man, that was
job
really
to
close
CC.
on that one.
3-0 in this set.
3 in a
And that is
row.
the end. CC advances with a score of 1-0, and Ginkgo is in the 0-1 bracket. But it's not over for either of them, as if Ginkgo wins out these next couple rounds, they could also be in the top cut of Spring Splash.
Who knows? Who knows? Ooh,
Okay,
alright.
time for the next set. Round 1 of Spring Splash. We have Pixel, aka Pupinen, versus Nick. Pixel is on the Tri-Slosher Nouveau, and we have Nick playing his main, the Dark Tetra Dualies. What is the dynamic between these two weapons? I think Cooler is pretty good. I'm not sure how good it is in 1v1 specifically, but Tri-Slosher in general is a very strong main weapon, being able to get some good picks over ledges and things like that. And as we see, Pixel managing to take the pick onto Nick early in the game, managing to secure the zone here.
In my opinion, Tri-Slosher is also just a little bit annoying, but at the same time, though, it's in a good way of annoying, because you're able to literally ledge camp people, just like with the Dread.
It is definitely one of the most annoying weapons in the game. And what is Nick's counterplay here? It seems that Nick is going to be able to use his faster kill time, if he can get all the shots off, with that Dark Tetra Dualies, but also being able to dodge around and be more of an annoying target for Pixel. However, with that long and wide area of effect, it is going to be a little hard for Nick to be able to cause that to happen, but the Reef Slider will take care of that just fine, as Nick manages to take the pick onto Pixel here and managing to secure the zone. That is a huge penalty for Pixel here, and Nick is currently in a much better position than he was a couple seconds ago, choosing not to push up and instead just defending zone here. Seems like a decent play until Pixel comes in with the Tri-Slosher and camps over that ledge. Once again, we see Haunt being used here as the primary gear ability of choice. A very good ability for 1v1s once again. We see Fizzy Bombs being thrown out. This is one of my favorite strategies on this map mode, is once you have the zone, just stay back, throw your Fizzy Bombs, throw your Burst Bombs, and just camp over those ledges, because that will force the opponent to be in a worse position. And as we see Nick getting taken down by Pixel here, that Tri-Slosher is proving to be really strong on a map like this with a lot of ledges around. And Nick is having a bit of trouble pushing back. It seems like he's going to be able to, he's going to need to get a Reef Slider here if he wants any hope of coming back. And we see him have that Reef Slider. Oh, let's see.
But it didn't work all the way.
Not completely. That was nerfed, at least the paint output. And he gets taken out by Pixel. That is going to be game 1, going to Pixel on Sturgeon Splat Zones.
Welcome back again, folks. This is game 2, and we are right inside Robo Ramen. We have a match between Pixel, and they're holding the Tri-Slosher. And we also have, it's Nick holding his main weapon, the Tetra Dualie. The Tetra Dualies, right?
Yeah.
Alright,
So
sorry.
same matchup as last time, but this time the stage is different. I wonder if this stage will favor Nick more. This is definitely Nick's favorite stage, so hopefully this will work out a lot better. And there's a lot more paths over here for Nick to take to try and get behind enemy lines. Let's see if this will be enough. But there's also a lot of ledges as well, and because of that, Pixel manages to take the first pick of the game. Well, Fizzy Bombs are going to be really useful here to hold down space. Cooler might not be the best special in 1v1 situations, but considering that Pixel will be able to move around a lot better and have more mobility, manages to get taken out by Nick here, and Nick is going to be able to secure the zone. Let's see if Nick will be able to get another Reef Slider in time to keep this lock going. Pixel slowly respawning, manages to get a hit on Nick, and manages to take him out.
Poor guy.
Another cooler coming out here in case Pixel gets taken out. So never mind, I do stand corrected because Pixel did get taken out while having cooler active, and so they were able to respawn a lot quicker and take back the zone, with Nick being able to only take around 20 or 19 points. We see another Reef Slider coming out. Pixel manages to dodge this one and gets the pick onto Nick in response. Yeah, Pixel is just breezing right now with the Tri-Slosher.
They're going to town on Nick with the Tri-Slosher. It is insane.
Sure. Wonder if Nick
And
might
Nick
have
is
to pick a
pressing
weapon with a
bomb.
little bit more range or something that can counter the Tri-Slosher more, but his skill on the Tetra Dualies is unrivaled, so maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to
he
switch.
walked right into that. I saw him dodge roll into that.
And it seems that Pixel has taken game 2. Let's see if Nick will be able to make a comeback in this set.
This isn't looking good for him. But I have hope that he's able to make the underdog round. It is bright and sunny on Hammerhead Bridge. We got Pixel and Nick. Pixel using the Gal 52, that is a new weapon. And Nick is using his trusty Tetra Dualies. Let's see who wins this last game, everybody.
Yeah, so Pixel picking the 52 gal here is a very interesting pick, especially considering Hammerhead isn't the best stage for Tri-Slosher because there aren't that many ledges, but also having that high damage on the Rainmaker is quite strong too. Let's see if this weapon choice will be enough to take out Nick, and it seems that Nick will go down to the 52 early, which means that Pixel is going to be able to take the checkpoint pretty early on in the game. Now they just need to keep the lock going in order to be able to take the Rainmaker again. Rainmaker is a very interesting mode for 1v1s because, as I mentioned last set, when someone has the Rainmaker, they can't shoot their main weapon, and so they're going to need to get picks with the Rainmaker if they want to keep it going. And sometimes that can be difficult, especially when your opponent has a quicker weapon. Although it seems that Pixel doesn't have a problem with that because they managed to take multiple picks, one of them with the Rainmaker, and managed to take
That was a fast-paced game.
Yeah.
Man, that was good.
A quick knockout from Pixel here, managing to take the set 3 wins and 0 losses. Alright, we're back with the third set of round 1 of the Spring Splash. We have Cat Allen versus Goober, aka Lex Naru. So we have Allen playing the Dreadringer, and Goober is on the NZAP 89. So we saw that NZAP 89 earlier when we were watching CC and Ginkgo's game, and it was working out really well for CC with the NZAP. But Allen has the Dreadringer, which is quite good in 1v1s because of that range that you have, and being able to poke over ledges is really helpful too, as we do see Allen getting the first pick of the game and immediately managing to take zone. Now he decides to push up and going all the way up ahead, trying to get some picks onto Goober, and manages to get one. And we can see the effective spawn camping tactic here on zones. Very strong in a 1v1 situation because this means that Lex does have to try and take out Allen in order to even get to the zone, and if they are not able to take out Allen, then they will simply lose over the amount of time that it just takes for the zone to tick down. And Allen decides to go back to the zone just to paint for Reef Slider because having more Reef Sliders is always useful. Manages to take the pick off of the ledge here. And it looks like this is going to be an easy game 1 for Allen. And there we go. That is game 1 going to Cat Allen. Very quick game there. Let's see if Lex Naru is going to be able to make a comeback in the next couple rounds. Okay, it's time for game 2, and this is going to be Clamblitz on Bluefin Depot. Once again, Allen versus Goober. Allen is currently 1-0 in the set, and Goober is 0-1. And let's see if Allen is going to be able to take the set, or if we're going to see a surprise comeback from Goober, aka Lex Naru. So we see Allen still keeping that Dreadringer, and we have a stage that is honestly a little bit favored for Dread because there's quite a couple ledges around that you can play with, and we see Alan getting that first pick immediately, going to grab some clams to take the basket here. And so Clamblitz is a very interesting game mode for 1v1s. This is the first time we're seeing it. What I like about it is that you can push objective without losing your main weapon, so you can still get picks and things like that while still pushing objective. And it's not like Rainmaker where you have to lose your weapon just to push objective. And we see a trade here. Gooba finally managing to get the pick onto Alan. And Alan missing the last couple of clams to get more points here. Gooba's going to be able to get this pity clam, and let's see if they're going to be able to push back to Alan's basket and get some points on the board here. So in terms of the weapon matchup, Alan's weapon can shoot around ledges really well, and the only thing that Gooba has to be able to counteract this is a faster kill time, where that ends up 89, and arguably more paint. I think Dreadringer still paints quite well, so it's going to be really hard for Lex to really take this win here with a weapon that has shorter range than the Dreadringer. Especially with the range advantage, Alan is definitely in quite a bit of an advantage spot here. He goes back to try and get more clams. Don't think he's going to be able to get to the basket just yet. He realizes this, so he decides to just camp this ledge, waiting for Lex to drop down to try and get an easier pick. You see Lex immediately going for basket. Alan responds by just immediately taking them out. And now they're going to grab some clams and see if they can make another push. Clamblitz is also a slower mode in general. It doesn't usually end in knockouts, especially not in these 1v1 situations where you don't have your team to back you up and help you get clams in. Alan manages to hit a 70 off of the Reef Slider, especially with that one main of special power up, probably running more actually. That Reef Slider is going to be doing 70 damage from really, really far away, which can be very devastating, especially in a 1v1 scenario. If Lex wants to dodge that, they're going to have to be going around ledges to try and block the shot. However, there aren't that many ledges in this particular area, so it seems that Lex is really just going to have to try and bait a Reef Slider, maybe Shark, or try and get some quicker kills. Maybe try and support with the Super Chumps, but otherwise this matchup doesn't seem awfully winnable because of that weapon difference. This is one of the downsides of 1v1s because some weapons just directly counter others, and in most situations you would have a team to help you cover those weaknesses because your team could always go after the weapons that your weapon would have a bad matchup into, but in a 1v1 it's just you versus them, and so if you're put into a bad matchup in terms of weapons, you are going to have quite a tough time here. Weapons such as, we've seen Dreadringer do quite well. We have seen things like Nautilus and Heavy Edit doing well, and just weapons that have really good self-sufficiency in general, weapons that can kind of do a lot with just one weapon and kind of defend themselves, paint well, get good kills on ledges, have good range. Dreadringer seems to fit all those criteria, and so that's why I think it is a wonderful pick for 1v1s, and this is why Alan is definitely doing really, really well in this current set here. Let's take a look and see what Lex's play is. Of course, we see the Reef Slider being popped, Lex going down 70, and unable to get the kill on Alan once again. It's quite a bloodbath here. Alan is just constantly going back and forth, grabbing those clams, getting those picks on Lex, and it is going to be slightly difficult to... well, maybe a bit more than slightly difficult to get those picks. So Alan throwing the clams into the water makes quite a bit of sense, because if he's not going to be able to make a push, and since there's 30 seconds left on the clock, his main strategy is to make it so that there's not enough clams for the opponent to make another push themselves. Of course, the clams will respawn after being thrown off the map shortly, but Alan is just going to go back and throw those clams off the stage anyway. And he's going to try and get another pick on Gooba and manages to get it. That is going to be a win for Game 2 for Alan. Okay, Game 3 is starting, and we're going to see splat zones on Barnacle and Dime. This is A pretty good map for Dreadbringer, so let's see if Alan is playing it. And no, he's playing my weapon, the S-Blast 91. Let's see how this goes, because I know that the 91 isn't the best weapon for 1v1s for sure. And Goober is still on the 89, so it seems that the play for Goober is really just to paint over Alan and try and make it so that he can't move around as well, because Alan's weapon does not paint quite that well. He does manage to get the kill on Goober here, but with not enough paint, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Let's see if he can still make it, though. So from my experience playing the 91, the lack of paint is a real problem. It can be very hard to deal with it, especially with the extensive paint of the 89 and the Super Chumps being able to push in. Unfortunately, Goober does get killed by a stray burst bomb from Alan. So let's see. I think Lex's move here is really just to paint for Super Chumps, push them into the zone, and then try and make a push alongside them. But if Lex keeps pushing into zone just without any sort of support whatsoever, it is not going to end well, because Alan's arsenal of the main and the sub weapon being able to combo with that burst bomb is just so incredibly strong. And yeah, this is going to be a game win, a round win actually, for Alan. And we're back with the next set of round 1 of the Spring Splash. We have Autopilot versus Bellybolt, aka Wahoo Skib. Autopilot is playing the Splatana Stamper, and Wahoo Skib is on the Slushing Machine. His Sturgeon zones for round 1, or for game 1. Let's see how these two people do. So these two are very good friends who just got matched up in a very lucky way in round 1. So we'll see who ends up progressing. Now, Splatana Stamper definitely has more range than the machine, so Autopilot is going to be able to poke at a longer distance here on Wahoo Skib. But Wahoo Skib has a lot of ledges to play around and does manage to get the pick on Autopilot here. And now he'll be able to get the zone. Runs out of ink because of the Slushing Machine nerf. And there we go. Okay, we see that Fizzy Bomb again. Once again, very good sub-weapon for 1v1s because it just allows you to poke so well into areas that you don't necessarily want to go into because they might be unsafe. Failed Zipcaster pick from Autopilot here. Let's see if he'll be able to take the pick regardless. But no, Wahoo Skib manages to get the kill with a couple indirect shots from the Slushing Machine. Decides to take control of the top platform. Will be a very good vantage point to try and get some more shots across here. Still has that Booyah Bomb charged, although he's going to need to use it in the right spot because it will leave him in a very vulnerable position, especially against Splatana Stamper's huge object damage. The Booyah armor gets broken and Autopilot manages to take the pick on Wahoo Skib. Is he going to be able to cap the zone in time? Most likely. Okay, using some burst bombs to paint up, and there we go. Autopilot takes the zone. Let's see if he's going to be able to keep the lock going against Wahoo Skib. So the Zipcaster is being popped here. Wahoo Skib is going to have to try and hide from this, but no, never mind. Tries to attack head on, but unfortunately gets taken out by Autopilot with a direct. Autopilot's keeping this lock going for quite a while. Let's see if Wahoo Skib is going to paint for a Booyah Bomb or instead try and go for the kill here. Going onto that ledge makes him a pretty easy target for Autopilot, but Autopilot instead decides to play a bit more defensively. Wahoo Skib manages to get a direct on Autopilot and manages to pop a Booyah Bomb. Hopefully this is going to be able to help him contest the zone here. He does manage to contest and cap the zone. Now it's Wahoo Skib's turn to keep the lock going. Some very good back and forth here from both players. Pretty even match. Pretty even skill level too. Let's see who ends up taking it. It seems Wahoo Skib manages to get the pick on the ledge. This is why I like this stage a lot. There's so many ledges to play around. A lot of AoE weapons are able to shine on this stage. if Autopilot wants to win, he's going to need to probably charge up a Zipcaster or try and poke at a longer distance and try and get Wahoo Skib. But as of right now, it's not looking very easy because Wahoo Skib is in a pretty good position. Currently running away, and Autopilot decides to try and go for the pick instead of going for zone, but then he realizes there's not enough time left. He's going to have to contest, but unfortunately Wahoo Skib stays below the ledge and gets the pick. That will be game 1 for Wahoo Skib. That was a very good game. I'm liking the dynamic of the two weapons, one of them having longer range but being slightly slower, able to hit those directs but not able to paint quite as much as the machine can, versus the machine which is able to play around so many different kinds of ledges and all that type of stuff. It's some really good gameplay here. Especially the range, honestly, is just a huge component of these 1v1s, because a lot of the time with the weapon with more range, you'll have such a big advantage against your opponent, but if they're able to play to their other strengths, like painting or AoE, or quicker kill time or something like that, they will be able to emerge victorious, even when there is a range disadvantage. Okay, time for game 2. Once again, we have Autopilot versus Wahoo Skib on Mako Mart Splat Zones. Let's see what weapons our two contestants are bringing. Autopilot is playing the custom dually squelchers with that beacon and super chump, versus Wahoo Skib is playing the Neo Splashomatic with triple ink strike and suction bomb. Now, I'm liking the dynamic of these weapons too. Wahoo Skib obviously has the more burst painting weapon with shorter range and a quicker kill time, versus Autopilot with that beacon able to come back into the fray a lot easier, but having a slower kill time at the expense of more range. Or more range at the expense of slower kill time. Let's see how these guys are going to be able to take this first pick here. Wahoo Skib playing a bit more passively, trying to try and throw those suction bombs to try and get Autopilot off of his stack. Seems like Wahoo Skib is going a little bit more offensive and aggressive here. Autopilot popping chumps near the zone, mostly on Wahoo Skib's side of the field, and takes out Wahoo Skib. And now he manages to get zone, and looks like Autopilot is in the advantage state now. Let's see what Wahoo Skib can do to push back. Wahoo Skib seems like he's going to be painting for an ink strike. He pops the strike before even getting close to the ledge, tries to push it into the zone, throws another suction bomb, trying to get more pressure on Autopilot, but unfortunately doesn't go in, so Autopilot just dodges, and now Wahoo Skib's going to need a little bit more to try and make this push again. In the meantime, Autopilot is just defending this area. Wahoo Skib gets another strike really quickly. That must be a lot of special charge being run on his build here. Manages to get in the zone, contests it, and let's see if this is going to be a pick for Wahoo Skib or if Autopilot is going to be able to get it. And it looks like Wahoo Skib does get it, manages to take the zone again, and now it is Autopilot's turn to try and push back and take the zone again. He manages to jump to a beacon that Wahoo Skib just broke and manages to take the pick on Wahoo Skib here. See, painting the zone a little bit more, trying to get that cap, and Wahoo Skib now does have a penalty of his own. So Wahoo Skib obviously wants to try and get another ink strike. He already has it. He's going to just push in with those strikes, throwing all three of them on the stack, and then immediately just rushing in. While Autopilot pops a super chump, but it's not enough. Wahoo Skib goes straight in and takes out Autopilot here. Wahoo Skib still painting up the map, making sure he has control and making it a lot harder for Autopilot to push back. Of course, Autopilot with the dualies can try and have more mobility in enemy ink, but it looks like Wahoo Skib is going really aggressive here and manages to take out Autopilot, even though he had like very little HP remaining. Still has those strikes charged up, and it looks like Wahoo Skib is going to be taking the lead here. Let's see what Autopilot can do to take it back. Wahoo Skib popping the strides to try and keep Autopilot in that area once again. Manages to take out Autopilot once more, even though he's still at low HP. This is where the difference in kill time really comes through, because Neo Splash does kill quite a bit faster than CDS does, but with mobility, there's a bit of a likelihood that Autopilot might be able to take it, but unfortunately, that is going to be a game to Wahoo Skib once again. So Wahoo Skib is now 2-0. Autopilot is going to need a serious counter pick in terms of weapons and stage to try and take this comeback here. But I definitely think both of these players are quite evenly matched here. Alright, it's game 3 of Wahoo Skip versus Autopilot. Let's see who is going to take this game. Wahoo Skip is currently 2-0, so if he wins this next game, it is going to be the end of the set. Wahoo Skip playing the Stars Dynamo Roller versus Autopilot on Ink Brush, and this is Museum Clamblitz here. So let's see. The brush is a very interesting pick for Clamblitz, especially in 1v1, because with that mobility, you can just kind of push into the enemy base undetected, or maybe you are detected, but your opponent's not going to be able to kill you in time because you got that fast brush moving speed. So you'll be able to just go into the enemy base really quickly here. Versus Wahoo Skip playing the Dynamo Roller in an attempt to try and take out the brush before they manage to even push past this point. And on this stage, there isn't a lot of areas where you actually can go to even get in here. Because there's only one real ramp that you need to push through, and of course there's another area here. You can see there's a block on the left side that you can kind of push through, but otherwise you really just need to go through that ramp that's all the way there. So Wahoo Skip can really just use the Dynamo Roller to push forward, and then when Autopilot tries to come in, Wahoo Skip will just camp on this this ramp that he has to go on, and just be able to take these knockouts very easily. Let's see Wahoo Skip trying to make a push here, running out of ink, and the whales have already been popped. Autopilot's coming straight behind really close. Honestly, I think in terms of weapon choice, this is a pretty bad matchup for the brush, because Dynamo Roller has some really good damage these days, and unless Wahoo Skip misses too many shots, it seems like this matchup isn't really too favored for Autopilot here, because the Dynamo, with that huge wide AoE, is just going to be able to take out Wahoo Skip. Not Wahoo Skip, is going to be able to take out Autopilot without even needing to aim super well, so that fast movement doesn't actually make that much of a difference here. You see Autopilot trying to go after Wahoo Skip, but Wahoo Skip decides to prioritize getting clamps, and that fall-off shot, still one-shotting because of the huge Dynamo buff, is going to be huge for Wahoo Skip, able to get even more clamps into the basket and extend the basket timer even more. Autopilot's trying to go around to try and get a pick, but unfortunately Wahoo Skip still manages to get the pick here because of that huge Dynamo Roller hitbox. It seems that once the floor is painted enough, the Dynamo Roller can just kind of run rampant here. We can see back-to-back-to-back knockouts from Wahoo Skip here playing the Dynamo Roller. I'm curious as to how Autopilot is going to think about going about this issue here, because without much paint and without much resources in terms of there not being any teammates or sub-weapons or anything that can really contest this Dynamo, this might be a bit difficult. However, if Autopilot can find an opening to throw a splat bomb at Wahoo Skip while he's mid-flick, this might be enough for at least even a trade, which could be huge for Autopilot to get back into the fray here. Although unfortunately we don't see that, and he's trying to just go around and take out Wahoo Skip, maybe from a different angle. But this is going to be very difficult when the Dynamo Roller is posing such a huge threat with that huge hitbox. We see Autopilot grabbing his pity clam and immediately rushing for the enemy base. Chooses to turn around in hesitation, not necessarily trying to go for more clams here. Manages to get even more, which is nice. Let's see if Autopilot's going to be able to get more clams in and make this push. Both of them pop whale here, but Autopilot decides to prioritize getting clams into the basket instead of taking out Wahoo Skip. Eventually, Wahoo Skip manages to find the pick and goes into the enemy base, throwing the power clam in and starting another push. Manages to take out Autopilot once more. And there's more clams around for Wahoo Skip to put in the basket. He is very close to a knockout here. Finally, Autopilot manages to throw a splat bomb at Wahoo Skip's feet while he's mid wind up here, which is going to be really good for autopilot. Decides to stay hidden, going for a more shocking kind of strategy here. But picking up that clam was devastating because Wahoo Skib found out where he was hiding and managed to take that crucial splat. This is not looking good for autopilot here. Yeah, with another push of the power clam and another splat from Wahoo Skib, that is going to be the set going to Wahoo Skib 3-0. Or maybe not because of overtime. Never mind. With one quick pick, it's over. Good job, Wahoo Skib. That's okay. Next round, or next set, is Leafy versus Lucas, aka Maddie. We have Leafy on his main, the well string, and Lucas is playing the Octo Shot. So what do we think of this matchup, Ace, in terms of the weapons and the skill level?
In terms of the matchup, I think it's pretty swell. At the same time, though, Leafun is really good with the well string. It's gonna be hard to beat somebody using their main.
Leafy is definitely very good on well string, and he's no stranger to fighting against these short range weapons that do kill faster sometimes, especially with that stamp. But unfortunately, this time it got cancelled, and Lucas manages to take the zone. Okay, Octo Shot seems like a pretty good weapon for 1v1s here. We did see the Neo Splash from Wahoo Skib a little bit ago. And yeah, those strikes are just really good for getting back into the game. And Splat Bomb is also really useful for poking at opponents outside of your range. That stamp just comes in from Leafy and immediately gets the splat here. Okay, so Leafy's pushing into the base, trying to take that snipe to get more of a vantage point to get rid of Lucas. And there we go with the quick one-shot.
Let's see. Alright.
Okay, so we see the bombs a little bit, but then there's the stamp immediately coming out. Yeah, that stamp is really, really strong, especially when you can just throw it, and it's just an immediate one shot against any frontliner.
Didn't Leafun like 10-star this weapon or something?
Yeah, he did. He's really good at it.
Yeah, so he knows this weapon inside and out, like the back of his hand.
Gets knocked out by Lucas here, it seems, with that quick kill time from the Octo Shot and taking back zone, even while out of ink.
Leafun's gonna have a tough time to get that penalty down if he's gonna take back the zone.
Yeah, let's see what he's going to try and do. He's going to stay on that right side on the little snipe position here. This is why I really like Sturgeon, because it's also got a lot of good positions for sniping players, which is very, very helpful. Going in with the stamp, but dies to the splat bomb.
Stray bomb.
Yeah.
One of the worst things to ever happen to a player.
There's some good stuff, though. Looks like Maddie might actually be able to take the lead here. Let's see.
Who knows?
Yeah, going from above.
Look at that hammer! Leafun lost the lead, but he might be getting the zone back any moment now.
Oh, is Leafy going to go for the zone? Oh. Okay, yeah, he needs to go for the zone here, definitely. Takes the zone, manages to put penalty on Lucas' side.
Yes, yes.
And then with the strikes, Leafy's going to have to move here. Still going for zone. Manages to one-shot Lucas with a really good shot from that well string. Nice. Lucas is now at a really big advantage, even charging up the stamp. This is really good for Lucas here.
Right.
Let's see what Lucas is going to try and do to take back. Obviously throwing some bombs, trying to paint up and get to that area where Leafy is. I think Leafy might have actually dropped. Popping the stamp, staying on that ledge though. Ooh. Oh, it looks like we're seeing a stamp throw. Miss?
Ooh, that was almost a good hammer snipe.
Okay, looks like Lucas might be taking zone again. No, Leafy's going to stop that from happening. Lucas gets on the snipe. And Leafy manages to get the pick here. Wait. Yes.
Whoa.
Oh, this is huge. I think Leafy's going to take this game thanks to that insane fight they just had. Come on. Oh, and another kill from Leafy seals the game. That was wonderful. Wow. That is game one going to Leafy. And we see tower control on Hagglefish Market in this game too. Let's see what both players pick. Lucas is picking the Jet Squelcher
And
Cobra,
Weeklong sticking with the bow.
Viper. Is it Viper or Cobra? I don't know.
I think it's the Cob. I think it's the
Yeah.
Cobra. Cobra, yeah.
Yeah, so having that range advantage is pretty good in this 1v1 scenario because this means that Lucas is going to be able to take out Leafy from a further distance than Leafy's able to shoot at. So
Yeah, but not to
hopefully,
mention, they also have splashdown as well. So
that's
if they
true.
get triple splashdown, just use it on the tower.
Yeah, and it can definitely counteract the
Damn.
hammer, but that's only if it comes out. That hammer is really strong, especially near the tower.
Exactly.
Leafy's weapon is just a pretty good one for 1v1s because being able to use those arrows from further away versus using the hammer the moment they get up close is incredibly strong.
Oh, okay.
Seems that Leafy has his hammer charge. He's probably going to use it right now. Uses it and the splashdown doesn't hit because the main one gets destroyed by the hammer. That is going to be a quick win for Leafy. Almost uncontested by Maddie there. Even though we had the range advantage, Leafy's hammers were just unparalleled here. That's going to be a very quick game win for Leafy. Leafy's now 2-0, one more win, and he will take this set.
It is a beautiful day at Undertow Spillway. We got Leafun and Lucas. Leafun's using his trusty... Oh, frick, I don't remember the name. And
Lucas
is using the roller. Alright, both teams are now charging towards the tower. Let's see who's going to win this one, shall we?
Game 3 of the set. If Leafy wins this one, then that's going to be the set win. But that roller might actually be a decent play with the shocking playstyle and being able to get people off the tower easily. Although it seems here that Leafy kind of knows what he's doing, shooting those arrows up in the air. But it doesn't seem to be working that well. The stamp might be enough. Let's see. Maddie is taking this quite well. Let's see how she'll be able to try and take this this tower back. Oh, misses the very important shot, and Leafy manages to get on the tower.
Alright.
Okay, I wonder what Maddie's play is here, because as a roller, you don't have that much paint on the ground, so this might be quite difficult to try and push back when you're at a disadvantaged state here. Let's see if Maddie's going to be able to hit one good roller flick on here. Runs out of ink at the worst moment, but makes it a trade. This will make the tower move back to the middle, which means Maddie has another shot to try and take it back. Let's see if she's going to be able to. That trade was huge.
On my toes. I'm on my toes. Let's see who wins this game.
So Maddie decides to get on tower, and Leafy is just immediately attacking that tower, like, almost instantly. But Maddie pops a bubble. Let's see if this will be enough to try and help get the kill. Of course, Leafy's weapon, the well string, has really good object damage, so he's able to shred that bubble really quickly. Maddie decides not to approach because she knows that she's going to get one shot by Leafy if she tries. And instead, tries to focus on getting this checkpoint, trying to dodge around everything Leafun has. Leafun throws an auto bomb here to try and get her off the tower and manages to do so. Let's see if the stamp will be enough to get the pick here. Maddie's still kind of shocking, but Leafy knows exactly where she is. The stamp does not get the kill. Let's see if Maddie can take this. Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues in this matchup is just the movement for the roller, because Maddie can't really go anywhere here. Just not having enough paint or movement. The only thing she has is a curling bomb, but that's not enough because with predictable movement like that, Leafy can just immediately get the one-shots, which would be devastating. We see Maddie going for this first checkpoint here, deciding to stay on the tower and try and dodge and weave as Leafy throws everything he has at her. And Maddie gets taken down by a stray shot from the well string.
The arrows were well placed, I gotta say.
Yeah, we see Leafy continue to take the tower here. It's just still constantly pushing. Maddie trying to go in aggressive with the roller. Manages to get Leafy off the tower finally, which is really good.
Alright.
Let's see how Leafy is going to be able to take this tower back. As you can see, Maddie just staying on the tower here. Leafy is just going to keep shooting out that bubble. The bubble breaks because of that high object damage. Let's see, Maddie's in a bit of a corner right now. Is she going to be able to get into a good position here. The stamp gets thrown, doesn't get the pick just yet, but Maddie's slowly losing her HP, getting chipped away by Leafun, and while trying to heal and trying to stay alive, Leafun manages to take the tower and paint up a lot. Maddie going on the aggressive here. Leafun decides to back up while Maddie goes back and takes the tower once again, placing a bubble. Leafun shreds it, almost done, and doesn't even need to complete the shred, and just gets the kill on Maddie right there. This is quite a difficult spot for Maddie to be in. Most of the map is painted in orange, and Maddie doesn't have much paint on her side, and with the big bubbler special, it won't really do too much. Maddie tries to go on the aggressive, but Leafun immediately pops a stamp. Let's see if this will be enough for Maddie. Leafun misses the stamp throw. Let's see here. Maddie going in with the roller, going on the aggressive, manages to take the tower once again. And then now she's going to be able to push some points. If she gets this next knockout here, this might be game-ending. Although I think she might need 2 knockouts to make this work. Popping that bubble in a very good spot to take the checkpoint. This is really strong. But with 30 seconds left on the clock, will it be possible for Maddie to get this? She's very low on HP, getting chipped away by Leafun, going in, trying to get this kill. This would be huge if she gets it. Only 10 points away from taking the lead with 15 seconds on the clock. We need to see a pick here, or else it's going to be over for Maddie. She is close to the bubble, and she gets taken out. That is going to be a win for Leafun. And Leafun wins the set 3-0. Ace, this is probably our closest set yet. At least in terms of, like, individual games. Like, except for the second game, the first and the third games went really close. Like, it was really anyone's game towards the end there.
That was impressive.
Yeah, and we know Leafun's a really good player, but Maddie has proven that even with a slightly disadvantaged weapon, the roller, without being able to paint or do too much outside of going for straight kills, she's still able to put that pressure on Leafun, and that is really, really powerful. I am very confident that we're going to see her in Top Cut later this weekend.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Alright, it's the next set of round 1 of Spring Splash. We have Ace versus Caleb here, and Ace is playing his main, the Neo Splashomatic. And Caleb is on the Bloblobber. Of course, we're starting Sturgeon Zones game 1. And let's get started. So first we have my co-commentator Ace playing. And Ace is known for being a huge rat. He goes into the enemy base all the time and causes a lot of problems. As we can see him going with his very fast and aggressive playstyle, immediately going in and taking a splat on Caleb here. Let's see if Caleb's going to be able to push back with the Bloblobber. Ace immediately fires his strikes and manages to get Caleb immediately. So in terms of the weapon matchup, I'm seeing that Ace has a lot of painting capability here. He's got almost the whole map covered right here. And Caleb has a lot more range than Ace does, so his move would probably be to play at a distance to try and get those picks and try and get paint on the map to make it so that Ace can't move around as easily, and then he'll be able to get picks a lot easier that way. Although we do see Ace going around here, managing to get Caleb one more time, and that is going to be a Game 1 victory for Ace. Alright, so now we're starting Game 2, Ace versus Caleb, Round 1 of Spring Splash on Rainmaker Urchin Underpass. Let's see how this will pan out. Ace is still on his main weapon, the Neo Splash, and Caleb is playing the Big Swig Roller. Now the Big Swig has Splash Wall and Ink Vac. And so Ink Vac would be a really good special here to try and get... to try and push a little bit more as a team. However, this is a 1v1, so the Ink Vac will have most of its use being used to pop Rainmaker and to block shots from the opponent. And speaking of popping the Rainmaker shield, the Big Swig Roller has really good object damage, so Caleb will be able to pop the Rainmaker shield a lot quicker than Ace will, but Unfortunately, Caleb goes down twice in a row, and Ace just paints up with the Rainmaker, painting a path to victory right here. If Caleb can't get the splat quick. And we're back with game 2. So as we see, Ace going for the pop really quickly early on, going in and rushing that Rainmaker to the checkpoint before Caleb can even get in there. Let's see if Ace is going to be able to take the pick here. Caleb is focusing on the Rainmaker, trying to pop it before Ace. And with that good object damage, and considering that Ace is out of ink, he might be able to, but those strikes are definitely going to cause a bit of a problem. He pops ink back. Ace is now unable to get any damage on. But then after waiting out the ink back, Ace is right back in the fray. But Caleb gets the pop with that huge object damage, grabbing the Rainmaker immediately. And Ace manages to splat him before he gets into mid. Now Ace pops the Rainmaker again, grabs it, and let's see if he's going to be able to get even more points on the board. Now Caleb is going to really need a strong push here. Maybe painting for an ink vac would be able to help him get back into the game. And Caleb manages to splat Ace while he is mid Rainmaker. This can be a really good turning point for Caleb. Let's see. Alright, let's see how Ace is going to defend this checkpoint. Caleb manages to get through the checkpoint, but Ace takes him out immediately after. Ace decides to use the strikes to paint up a little bit and then grabs the Rainmaker, trying to push it even further than he did previously. Let's see if Caleb will arrive just in time to stop him. So Ace is going to have to do some attacking with the Rainmaker, manages to get the pick. And now this means that Ace is going to push even further now. Manages to get past the grates, which is quite a big choke point on this map, but once you're out of there, things can get a lot easier. Manages to splat Caleb one more time and takes game 2. Alright, and it's time for game 3, and this time we are on Mahi Mahi Resort, and we are playing Turf War. So, Caleb versus Ace. Caleb is playing the Aerospray RG, and Ace is playing the Neo Splash. So 2 very strong painting weapons here from both players. Let's see who is going to be able to cover the most of the stage with their color of paint. So obviously Ace immediately gets the ink strikes and just pops them to get more paint and more control on the stage here. And let's see if he's going to play his normal aggressive playstyle that we've seen in 8-player Turf War, just rushing into the enemy base and covering it. Or if he's going to play more passive and try to focus more on painting the stage rather than pushing into the enemy base. And we see Caleb here really trying to get every single nook and cranny of his base before pushing into the fight here. And dies to the ink strike. The Booyah Bomb armor was shredded by that ink strike there. We can see Ace really trying to make a break for the enemy base here, trying to go after Caleb and stop him from painting. Managed to get the pick as well too. So let's see how Caleb is going to respond to this knockout. Ace is obviously going back to his base to try and paint up a little bit more, which is going to give Caleb a bit more time to push back and try and get more control of the stage. Managing to charge up a Booyah Bomb and decides to unleash it. Let's see if he throws it where Ace is. And manages to get Ace even if the Booyah Bomb doesn't hit. This is really big for Caleb because now he's going to be able to have even more time to paint over the stage and try and push the game back into his favor. Water level drops. Let's see which person manages to paint more of the new areas. Ace managing to get the pick here. And he paints a huge portion of this left side. Immediately getting the strikes out. Ace has already reached 1,300 paint, actually. Oh, Ace is going crazy here. Let's see what Caleb's up to. Still trying to paint more of his base, and since Caleb's base is really well painted, this means that with one good push, he should be able to take this win. Whereas Ace's base is a lot less painted, as we can see here. So if Caleb doesn't go down too much, this might be easy. And we do see a trade here. That's just more time going to be lost. And Ace is going to be at an advantage because he has more of the stage covered at the moment. Ace respawning back in and going back to painting, whereas Caleb is also doing the same, trying to get more of that orange out of the base here, using the sprinkler, and just trying to get rid of more and more of Ace's paint. And Ace is continuing to paint more and more of the stage, not really going for Caleb's base just yet. Oh, but now he is, and let's see who's going to be able to get this pick. Ace manages to get it. And with one more use of the triple ink strikes, this looks like it's going to be an easy game going to Ace. And with that, Ace wins the set, 3 wins and 0 losses. Okay, it's time for the final set of round 1 of the Spring Splash. We have Indigo versus Nerdy, guys. Indigo is playing the Paintbrush, and Nerdy is playing the Big Swig Roller Express with Angle Shooter and Inkstorm, which is pretty interesting. Ace, what do we think of this matchup here?
I think the matchup here is actually going to be pretty good. I mean, I've gone against the Paintbrush multiple times because obviously Koopa has played that weapon many times, so I know how that weapon plays out. But I don't know how this big swig will go. But ooh, Rain, that's actually a nice combo. It actually is able to heal your teammates and yourself, so that's perfect.
Yeah, and being able to get some paint on the zone is always much appreciated, and that chip damage is super useful too. But unfortunately, Indigo manages to get the splat onto Nerdy. The Big Swig isn't doing as much right now, but we might see that Inkstorm coming out very shortly as Nerdy tries to take back the zone here. What do you think Nerdy's plan of action should be?
Well, if they have Busy, right? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, taken out by Indigo once again. It seems like they just tried to go in immediately. I think what they should do is maybe try and paint for that Inkstorm and push in along with it, which will force Indigo to move away. Or perhaps try and get Indigo mid-startup. Or there's one more thing you can do against Paintbrush, which is once they've started swinging, they will be kind of locked there for a little bit. So it will be a little bit difficult for them to turn around or move to a different location. So if Nerdy is able to bait Indigo, that is a trade right there. No one takes the zone for a little bit. If Nerdy manages to get into the zone quicker than Indigo, which is probably going to be the case, they will definitely be able to get the zone first. Let's see if they're able to. But as I was saying, one other strategy you could try against Paintbrush is once you get them to start shooting, they're going to be stuck there for a little bit. So you can really just hold them there and go around and try and splat them that way. But yeah, we see a little fight going on between Nerdy and Indigo. Nerdy, of course, has the high ground here. This might be very helpful. Runs out of ink!
What a way to run out of ink at the wrong
at the wrong moment, too. Oh, ran out of ink again. What is this? Oh, popping the Inkstorm to get that ink tank refill. And the Indigo dies to the storm. Wait. Oh, that was a lovely fight to witness.
Wow, that was insane.
Yeah. Wonder what the move is here for Indigo. Indigo needs to come back and take this zone here. Nerdy manages to take the lead. Let's see if Indigo's going to be able to take back the zone and manages to get the pick.
Yeah. This is interesting.
See, he's taking the zone again. Alright, now it's Nerdy's turn to go back and try to get back into the zone here. Once again, painting for that Inkstorm and trying to push alongside it seems like the best play. Indigo's just painting up, trying to keep that map control here, staying behind the zone instead of in front of it. And Nerdy is just pushing up, trying to get some more paint on. Indigo lands one hit. Let's see if this will be enough. Nerdy pops an Inkstorm and manages to cap the zone. This is going to be a pretty decent penalty on Indigo's side here. And we see Indigo running Respawn Punisher. I wonder if that's a good ability for 1v1s because it really affects both sides. And a fun fact about Respawn Punisher is that it impacts you more than it does your opponents because the respawn time is longer for the opponents that you splat, but it's even longer for you. So Indigo needs to be constantly chaining splats here if he wants to get good value out of this Respawn Punisher. But if they do trade, Nerdy will technically respawn quicker than Indigo, so he'll be able to get back into the fray a lot quicker. See Indigo's penalty being over, and Indigo manages to get more points almost about to take the lead here. Let's see what Nerdy can do to take this back. And Nerdy manages to win the fight alongside the Ink Storm. This seems like the best strategy is to just push in with the Storm, make it really hard for your opponent to deal with both the Storm and you. And let's see if Nerdy's going to be able to keep this lock going. It looks like he's going to need to paint for another Storm here, or perhaps try and Shark to get Indigo out of that area. Indigo's obviously going to go on the high ground.
Yes, okay.
Nerdy's taking a couple hits and Indigo falls off the stage. That is a horrible time to fall off. Oh no. It seems like this is going to be the lead for Nerdy. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock. Can Indigo make it back in time? Of course, since Indigo fell off the map, Respawn Punisher doesn't activate, and Indigo gets taken out by Nerdy in the final second of the game. Nerdy guys is now
off the stage.
Yeah, I think he would have definitely had a chance, but that will be 1-0 to Nerdy guys. But that set, or that game, was really close, and I'm really confident that this set is also going to be equally as close.
It is bright and beautiful underneath Undertow Spillway. We got Indigo versus Nerdy's. Indigo's using the paintbrush, and Nerdy's is using the big swig. Let's see who takes on the tower. Who's going to be the victorious for this second game?
Yeah, we do see two of the same weapons as we've seen from the previous round here. Which one of these weapons do you think is better for tower control?
Oh, damn! Indigo got a good hit on him.
Oh, ooh, Nerdy manages to get the pick here. I think the Big Swig does have an advantage on the tower, definitely, but the Paintbrush also has a similar advantage with that AoE damage. It's just going to be a very even match here. Let's see who's able to take this game. So we see Nerdy still pushing the tower, and Indigo is following close behind. Let's see if Indigo is going to be able to take the splat and take the tower away from Nerdy. Nerdy healing extremely quickly from that storm and manages to get Indigo off of the chip damage. This is pretty good for Nerdy here. Managing to get past that second checkpoint too. Ace, what do we think Indigo needs to do to take back the tower here? Well, he showed us. He showed us for sure. All right, Indigo taking the tower back, but Nerdy managed to push to 27. This is going to be a hard lead to pass, isn't it, Ace?
It is going to be a hard one to pass, Sammy. So let's see who wins this one.
Alright, both of them using their specials at once. Both just pop and forget specials. One of them being the Wavebreaker and the other the Storm. The Storm passes, but the Wavebreaker trips up Nerdy and Indigo manages to take the pick. Let's see if Indigo can push all the way back to 27.
Ooh, pass checkpoint 2. This is really going
let's see, Nerdy's going to need to take the knockout here. Oh, and he manages to do so. Nerdy manages to get the splat, but dies to the Wavebreaker. This is a delayed trade here.
This is good.
2 points away from taking the lead from Nerdy here. Indigo definitely has a really good shot at making it. Let's see who gets to the tower first. Indigo's already on there. Really wants to get to that point, but Nerdy has learned his lesson and went to paint for a storm instead. Uses the storm to take out Indigo. This is a very good strategy here. Just painting for special and using it to go in and push objective. And Nerdy is definitely in a very good position here, having a lot of the map painted. But Indigo might have some tricks up his sleeve too. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, going in with the paintbrush and managing to get Nerdy off of the tower. This back and forth is exactly what we see in a lot of 1v1s, isn't it?
This is even better than the last match. Or the last match, I meant.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, the Wavebreaker is being popped on Indigo's side. Let's see what this is going to mean for Nerdy. Nerdy's going to play a little bit more cautiously here. Does not have Storm charged up. And unfortunately gets taken out by Indigo. Indigo's going to be able to take the lead here. Let's see if he's going to be able to pass this checkpoint. That Respawn Punisher is doing wonders right now. Just buying Indigo a bunch of time to take this checkpoint. Indigo uses the Wavebreaker to get more ink and manages to push all the way to the knockout. Indigo nets 1 point on the set. This set is currently 1-1. This is
the first time in all day, gang.
Yeah.
First time.
Round 1 has been pretty pretty extreme in terms of these sets here, because everyone's been going 3-0 or 3-1, but this is the first time a set has begun 1-1, and that first win was really close as it was.
Yeah, that was insane.
Alright, it's time for game 3. We are on Humpback Pump Track playing Rainmaker, and if I'm correct, then both of these players are running the same weapons. So this is really just going to be the battle of the Paintbrush versus the Big Swig Express. Let's see who is going to take the win. So here, both of these weapons have pretty good damage on the Rainmaker shield, although the Big Swig Express does have that edge having extra object damage, and the Paintbrush runs out of ink a lot quicker than the Big Swig does, so Nerdy is going to be able to take the pop and immediately just rushes for the checkpoint. Let's see if he's going to be able to get it before Indigo follows close behind, manages to get this checkpoint, and Indigo takes out Nerdy and pops the Wavebreaker in an attempt to get the Rainmaker shield popped quicker, or maybe just using that Wavebreaker because he knows that he's not going to be able to have access to his special once he grabs that Rainmaker. Nerdy is camping the Rainmaker checkpoint here, so Indigo's going to need to get a really good shot above this ledge, and dies to the Storm plus the Big Swig. This is really strong. This is a really strong play from Nerdy here, going in with that Ink Storm. Let's see if Nerdy's going to be going for the Rainmaker or instead painting for another Storm. Looks like he decides to go for the Rainmaker, drops and decides to go further up to try and get more points, but Indigo is close behind and immediately gets the splat.
That is good. Right. See here.
Ace, do we think that that Rainmaker is a good mode for Big Swig, or if it's better for Paintbrush?
Who knows,
Especially on this stage, too. I think this stage is quite Paintbrush favored.
Yeah. But this game could be anybody's right now.
See, Indigo manages to snake past and just snaking around left and right to try and get to that checkpoint. Manages to get to it, and Nerdy is now about to pop this Rainmaker. Unfortunately, runs out of ink, but there he pops the Rainmaker, and now he's going to take it further back, trying to go for the play of stalling the Rainmaker, although this is probably not the best idea. Because of that don't retreat message, and then it immediately goes back to the checkpoint, and Indigo manages to take the pick here. This is pretty bad, because Nerdy has now put the Rainmaker in a really good spot for Indigo.
And he just got the lead.
Oh, but looks like Indigo doesn't know the path of taking the left side. He could have gotten tons and tons of points there, but Nerdy might be able to use this to his advantage here. Then he decides to jump back to base, letting Indigo get a couple points on the board here, but managing to splat him once he reaches one remaining.
So close.
Nerdy uses an Ink Storm to get the Rainmaker back, and Nerdy's going to need to push quite a bit far to try to get the Rainmaker all the way to Indigo's side of the field.
Nerdy definitely has to get a knockout if he wants to win.
Indigo playing over those ledges like a good Paintbrush should, and manages to take the knockout on Nerdy here. This is definitely a difficult spot for Nerdy to be in, because Indigo has pushed to 1, which means Nerdy basically needs to go all the way to the opponent's side and get a knockout here, but Indigo can just stay here and camp the Rainmaker the whole time. If Nerdy is unable to get a pick and the Rainmaker, this is going to be quite hard. Indigo decides to grab the Rainmaker once again. Let's see if he's going to push for points. It seems that Nerdy is close behind. Let's see if Nerdy is going to be able to take out Indigo, and it looks like it is going to be possible, and Nerdy manages to get Indigo. This is going to be really difficult for Nerdy, though. What do we think, Ace? Do you see a line for Nerdy here?
I think I see a little bit of a line, but I don't really know for sure. This is literally anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, I think that what Nerdy needs is to get a pick with the Rainmaker, is what I was going to say. He manages to do it. Let's see if he's going to be able to push it all the way to the checkpoint, and manages to get it. Nerdy manages to take the win all the way from a push to 1 from Indigo's side, all the way to a reverse knockout. This is incredible here. Oh, the set is now 2-1 in Nerdy's favor. What a close game, Ace.
Whoa. I am speechless right now, Amy. This is amazing.
Oh, this is the best set we've seen all day.
Exactly.
What a great round to end things off. But it's not over yet because someone needs to get to 3 wins first. And let's see who it's going to be. Is it going to be Nerdy or Indigo?
Who knows? Who knows?
Oh, but these two players are very evenly matched. Like, in terms of skill and in terms of weaponry, this is one of the best matchups I've seen.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm really rooting for Indigo here to get this next win because this will be the first set that we've seen with a 2-2 scenario. This is going to be some very interesting stuff for sure.
I know it will. Definitely going to be something fun.
Okay, so we're now in game 4. Right?
It's a beautiful day on Wahoo World. We got nerdies with the big swig, and we got Indigo wielding the paintbrush. Let's see
Yeah.
who gets the zone.
Let's
Who's
see.
gonna win
This is
the
definitely
game?
one of my least favorite stages in the game, Ace. But you know, if it was picked for a reason because Indigo definitely thinks that he has an advantage on this stage. And honestly, I can definitely see it because even though the Big Swig can definitely go in with the zones cheese as we've just seen, the paintbrush does have quite an advantage on this sort of flat area. And Nerdy is going to need to use that Ink Storm to try and get the pick, and manages to do so here, getting a bunch of points on the board. Let's see if Indigo's going to be able to have a good response to this.
Here.
So Indigo's coming
Hot
back.
again.
Nerdy is on the other side of the zone, so Nerdy's going to have to kind of push back if he wants to take out Indigo. But let's see if Indigo's going to be able to get this. Currently is using curling bombs to paint, but with that Ink Storm, it's going to be a little bit difficult without going right in there and getting your hands dirty. Let's see if Indigo can get a pick here. Takes a bit of damage from Nerdy, runs out of ink. Both of them are out of ink here. Let's see if Indigo can cap the zone. Instead decides to go for the pick, manages to get it on Nerdy. This is very good here, because Nerdy now has a big penalty to deal with. Let's see how this is going to go for Indigo.
That's gonna be hard to get rid of the penalty. I mean,
For sure. Nerdy is definitely going to try and paint for another Ink Storm, managing to get it here. Let's see where he's going to throw it and when he's going to go in for this fight. It's going to be a very interesting fight, Ace. Indigo also has a special of his own, popping that Wave Breaker here. Let's see who is going to be able to take zone here. Indigo and Nerdy both go down. No one takes the zone. There's no penalty for Indigo, but also no points being racked up here. Oh, the zone is mostly covered in Indigo's color, so let's see if Indigo's going to be able to get to the zone quicker using that brush rush mode here. But Nerdy's already there because of that quicker respawn Punisher time and manages to take the zone, putting Indigo at a little bit of a penalty. Indigo's going to need a little bit more to take this. Let's see what he can do. Okay, so Nerdy runs out of ink, and Indigo uses this as his opportunity to run in and get zone. Nerdy retreats to try and stay alive and comes back into the fray with more ink while Indigo's trying to paint for zone and manages to get the pick here.
this is really close.
Yeah, this is a really good back and forth that we're seeing here. Nerdy is definitely still winning, but is he going to be able to keep it up for much longer? Is he going to save the storm or wait? Or use it right now to prevent Indigo from coming in? I think he's going to use it right as Indigo comes into the zone here to try and take him out. And it seems like this was the right play because we see a trade, but Nerdy is still racking up points on the board here. This is a pretty strong position for Nerdy. Not perfect, of course, because he did go down, but there's a lot of points being ticked down here. Let's see who gets to the zone first. Indigo's rushing in, so is Nerdy. Nerdy only has 5 ticks left on the board. Indigo's going to need a lot of paint here, and Nerdy takes the game. That is the set win for Nerdy, 3-1.
No.
What a wonderful set, Ace. This has to be one of the best sets we've seen. I was hoping for Indigo to get that second victory so that we could see this set go on for even longer. But good job, Nerdy guys. A well-deserved win after 4 actually well-fought battles.
Yeah. GG's to all the contestants for round 1. This is the last round for the night, right? Or
Yeah,
last game
this was the final round, and we'll see you all tomorrow for round 2. And that concludes round one of the Amyverse Spring Splash 2026. Here are the standings, and what do we think?
Honestly, all those matches that we saw earlier, those were all so impressive.
Those were some really good matches. What were some of your favorites? I personally really liked watching Slice's game. Especially that round where Xander took the Rainmaker back behind Slice's back, and like Slice just didn't know, and it was just such a good play. And by the time Slice figured out that Xander was taking it from under her nose, she tried to go back and get it, but was unable to get the Rainmaker out of Xander's hands, and he managed to steal that game. And of course, our last set with Indigo versus Nerdy Guys, that was such a fun game to watch because those two were just so evenly matched. It was just really good back and forth gameplay there.
Yeah. You actually stole my answer. I was gonna say Indigo's match because it was really close. Both of the players had really good skill. It was basically just Paintbrush versus Big Swig Express. But Big Swig Express kind of took the win in the end,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
was.
And we did see a lot of steamrolling happening. People
Mhm.
with the big names, Lee Fun, CC, Allen, and Slice, all taking 1-0s. And this could be attributed to the fact that, it's round one and it's random. You could be paired up against someone who's either played for a very, very, very long time or someone who's just new to the game. But that doesn't change the fact that these players who are now 1-0 have done a really good job getting here. But it's only the first round. They could drop to last place at any point. I'm just saying. So let's see if they're going to be able to defend their titles in round two of the Spring Splash.